a creditor may do a search and may find the prior interest in the collateral the creditor wants to take an interest in. He may want to see if there's sufficient equity in that collateral to take a second priority interest. So he wants to be able to talk to that first creditor and find out if there's sufficient equity left in which to take an interest. And if there is, then they would then enter an agreement that the first creditor would not make any future commitments against that collateral under the agreement. So we simply click on Update, and you'll see it's displayed in a grid. And if there's a co-secured creditor, you can add them the same way we did with the debtor. The next thing we want to do is add collateral. We click on the Collateral tab. You'll notice that we can describe collateral in 3 different ways here. One is a narrative description, so we can say, a 1999 Ford truck. Keep in mind, by the way, that in these modern registries, you can make a very generic description. You can describe all collateral, all accounts receivable, or all inventory if you want. You do not have to specifically describe, because that allows you to describe classes of collateral to include future collateral that may come into that class. So if you say inventory, it would include present and future inventory, or accounts receivable, the same thing. Or you can describe it in the case, if the law so provides, you can have serial numbered items that you would describe by serial number. So in this case, in Tonga, they provide for vehicles to be described by serial number, so you can search by the serial number of the vehicle as well as by the debtor name. So we just enter then the vehicle serial number, and if you need to, you can add an additional by clicking this button. It opens that same field again. You can add more serial numbers. So if you have a taxi fleet is being financed, for example, you could enter all the taxi serial numbers. So you could search all those taxis by serial number. There's a third way to add descriptions. If you have a very, very long description, for some reason you want to have a long, detailed description of collateral, and the bank already has a document that has that long description in it, rather than copy all that stuff into this narrative field, they can simply convert that document that describes that collateral to a PDF, click on the Browse button down here, browse to it, and click on the Add button to add the attachment, and then it will be attached to the file and be openable in all searches. So you can find that in all searches and open in a search. I don't have any PDF files in this computer because this computer is empty, so I can't do that to show it to you. But it's a third way to do it. The requirement is you have at least one, but you can have all of these forms of collateral descriptions used if you want to. But you have to have at least one to satisfy the requirement of the system. In Tonga, they have another tab which provides for other information. It's really unnecessary. I would not recommend doing that, but they decided they wanted to have the ability to have comments. So if you want to have comments, you can put another tab there for comments. Once you get all the data entered, then all you do is click this Review button here, and it puts everything together for you in one place so you can then review it and make sure everything is correct. Because once you submit this, it's on record forever. It's there, it's done, you can't change it. You have to amend it then to change anything in it. This gives you your last chance to look it over. You look it over, and if you find an error, you click on the Edit button. That takes you back to the Add screen, so you can go and pull up that particular tab and make the change, and then reconfirm or review. If everything is okay, you click on the Confirm button, and you immediately get back. It took a little while because we're communicating a long ways here. You immediately get back the complete registration, including, most importantly, the registration number here, which the system assigns, which uniquely identifies this record, so it can, it's out there forever, and all subsequent records, amendments, terminations, and so forth that relate to it can be linked to this record. And it also gives you the date and time of registration, which is also very important, because you now know exactly when you acquired your priority as of this moment against third parties. In the case of Tonga, they have a fixed duration, which you can extend, but a fixed duration there which they automatically tell you what the lapse date is going to be, so that you will know if you need to extend it, you need to extend it before that date. And down here you have all the description of all the parties. And at the bottom, this is the optional feature which Tonga chose to use. You don't have to do it. There is a PIN number here, which is kind of a security measure against fraudulent termination of registration by the debtor. Only the secured creditor gets this on the confirmation of registration. It does not appear on a search, so the debtor can't get access to this. So this allows the secured creditor to control who goes in and makes changes, such as terminations or amendments to it. So that he has to copy this down or save this, and then only he will be able to use this PIN number along with the registration number to do a change to the registration. Since I can't print this off here, I don't have a printer here to print it off, I'm going to have to make note of it on a pad. I'm also copying down the registration number so I can show you how to do an amendment. So we have now finished the registration. It's an effective registration. It's available for search. As soon as that screen came back up, it was available for search on the system, so that anybody who does a search now knows that I have claimed my right as of this date and time that shows here. Now, you'll want to document your loan documentation file. So the way you do that, you'll notice there's a little print icon up here in the upper left-hand corner right here. If I click on that little print icon, it converts everything that's on the screen into a printable format and pops up your print dialog box. You can print it either to a paper document and stick it on a paper file, or you can print it to a PDF and attach it to your electronic loan file, whichever you want to do. But it allows you to capture that in a printable format right away and store it in your loan documentation file. I'm sorry? Well, you could, yes. You could email it. You can do anything with it. You capture it in a PDF document. You can do whatever you want. But be aware, you don't want to give this PDF file in your loan documentation file to your debtor, because it has this PIN number on it for your use only. Okay? So be aware of that. Anyway, you can print that off and put it in your loan documentation file, whether it's electronic or paper. So now I'll go back to the home page. And you'll note down at the bottom of the home page, there's a grid down here that has transactions. So it shows my transaction, shows the registration number here in the bottom, this little transaction file right here, and the type, and in this case, the fee amount, which doesn't have a fee in the system for this document, but it would show you the fee there. And then at the bottom of it, you have a cumulative fee total showing up. The next thing I want to show you real briefly is how to do a change. That means an amendment or a termination to terminate the effectiveness of the registration, or in the case of one that's about to lapse, you can extend it by doing a continuation statement. So in this case, I get this change notice screen. You put the registration number in, which is 1001357. And then the PIN number, so that only the secured creditor can get in and make this change. And I select the type of change I want to do, which means amendment, termination, or continuation. I'll do an amendment to show you how to do an amendment. I click on the next button. It takes me to the screen to actually do the change. Since you may have more than one secured creditor, and we want to bind the approving secured creditor with this registration, we have a box down here that says who's going to authorize it. In this case, we only had one secured creditor, so it's not a problem. We just click on that box. And you notice we have the screen back up here that has the same information that is in the add screen. We have all the information that's effective now, so if we want to change it, we can go in and, for example, if we want to get rid of this individual debtor, John Allen Smith, we just click on the X, and voila, the screen comes back with just XYZ Inc. showing. So now it affects only XYZ. If we want to add collateral, we can add all inventory. So we now have added some collateral. Once we get through with doing that, we click on the review button, just as we did the first with the initial document. And what we get then is a complete display of the registration as it's been changed by the amendment. In other words, you get all the information, the old information and the new information that survives. So we have all that. We have the number of the initial notice, so we still have that displayed. They don't, in Tonga, they don't give a unique number to the amendment. In most jurisdictions, we give a unique number to the amendment as well, but you don't have to, as you can see here. The same thing, if we want to, then we then click on confirm if it's all correct. And again, if you want to print it, you click on the print icon to print it, but we won't bother doing that now. So we have the amendment completed. So we've gone through the whole process now. The next thing I want to show you is how to search. We click on the search icon here to open the search screen. The search screen is very simple. You can search by registration number that's assigned by the system. You can search by the debtor, or in the case of a vehicle, by the serial number of the vehicle. We'll do the search by the debtor. We'll search on the one we just did, which is the company XYZ. The search process has a normalization process where you search by striking out certain things you don't want to bother searching on. For example, it strikes out Inc., Incorporated, Company, Co., LTD, Partnership, and so forth. The word the and certain other, and punctuation and so forth. So all you have to search on is the core elements of the registration. So I did XYZ Inc. I'll just put in XYZ here. I'll put in XYZ Company, or LTD, or how about, well, Company. Let's say I don't know what the ending is. I'll put in Company and submit it. And what you get back then is a complete listing of all registrations that match that search criterion for the debtor XYZ. Now you notice, in this case, I searched XYZ Company, which is what I put in before. Now, the language of data entry has to be the same. You have to have one standard for data entry so you can do the searching. You can do the comparison. Other questions? All right, if no other questions, then thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I hope to see all of you again, because I hope that we have great success with ASTI and spreading this across the entire region. I look forward to it. Let me get out of here.
Thank you, Everett. Just a couple of quick things. I distributed a feedback form for the event, so I appreciate if you can fill that in. And again, on the material of this event, it will be hopefully posted on the website within a week. However, you can also give me your business cards, and maybe we can send it to you by email if you would like that on your way out. By Everett's session, this concludes the sessions of this event. Mr. Hafid Obrik from Arab Monetary Fund will give us a quick wrap-up on the day, and then we will be done after that. Thank you, Hafid.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wasim. That's hard task. I mean, you are giving me at the end of the day. I'm not going to bother you anymore. I think it's the end of the day. It was a very interesting day, actually, for all of us. Honestly, this morning I was very impressed by one word that Dr. Zakaria Hajaras, the chairman of the board of the MENA Center for Investment, has said. He said, it's maybe the time for all of us to act differently, to have a new thinking, and to, why not, to step away from the conventional way to do our business. I think he's right somehow. Our region is definitely nowadays is supporting the impacts of the financial crisis, is supporting what is going on in Europe and in the US. And also our region is witnessing, as you know, as you are following, let's say, on all the TV channels, the different changes, social changes, political changes. And this definitely is making some pressures on all our governments. And to achieve a sustainable economic growth, the government needs to rely on the private sector. And for this, I think to facilitate the business of the private sector, we need absolutely to pass by the financial sector. So the financial sector has a key role to play it nowadays, and I think to do that, we need absolutely to give all the necessary tools for that. Necessary tools means having an efficient financial infrastructure that will help and that will ease, let's say, the procedure for the financial sector. In this conference, during the day, we have seen, let's say, the different pillars, the credit information sharing mechanism that we can have in the country. Also, we have seen what is the secured lending, how it should be performed or implemented in the country. You know that you have a role to play to have a nice and efficient legal framework for secured lending. And also we have, let's say, we have followed the live demo of this software that will definitely help use, movable assets as collateral for credit for the SMEs. And as the title of this conference is, how to enhance or improve access to finance for SMEs. So that's the key. You have to act on the final infrastructure. You have to, let's say, the authorities need absolutely to work on that and to make some reforms on this level. I don't want to say anymore. I think everything has been said by all the distinguished speakers that we had today. At the end, I want just to thank so much the MENA Center for Investment, and especially two ladies which are staying, outside, Ms. Wahida and Ms. Hana Kanu, for their excellent efforts to make this meeting successful. Of course, I want to thank, of course, all my colleagues from the IFC for their support, for coming here today, all of them, and for, let's say, their, excellent presentation. I want to thank you too, for traveling to Manama and being with us today and giving us the opportunity to share, let's say, our views on these topics. And of course, at the end, I want to, of course, thank the CBB, Central Bank of Bahrain, for their support for this conference. And thank you so much.
Okay, I think it's done. Thank you very much, and hope you have a good evening. Thank you.